The Sheriff and I had a very productive meeting and discussion about security threats to the Harris County area and what the Sheriff's Office is doing to counter those, whether that comes from a terrorism standpoint or from the drug cartels, which we talked about very extensively. You know, I met with President Calderon last month, and in Mexico, over 40,000 people have been killed in their war against the drug cartels since it started. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the drug cartels are here in the United States, and they're here in Harris County, they're here in the Houston area, which is seen as a major hub of distribution coming up Interstate 10. And it's becoming more and more of an issue the more sophisticated these cartels and the gangs that they work with here in the United States become. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and our concern is, you know, that kind of violence that we're seeing in Mexico starting to occur here in the United States. So the Sheriff and I talked about a lot of operations that he's currently working on in terms of gang violence and how to stop the cartels from really taking over routes in the United States. And we also talked about his participation with the National Counterterrorism Center in Washington and his efforts to work with Mexico to get better intelligence coming out of Mexico. This is a threat that obviously is raging in Mexico, but we have to keep our eye on the ball here in Harris County to make sure from a security standpoint people are safe here from the threats that are coming in from Mexico. And so with that, I'll turn it over to the Sheriff, and I know we'll have some questions.
Thank you, Congressman McCaul. It is always good to be able to visit with our members of Congress, especially advocates like Congressman McCaul. We talked about the goals and vision for the Harris County Sheriff's Office as relates to keeping Harris County as safe as possible from all potential threats, whether they be narco, international, domestic terrorism, as well as your everyday common thugs. And so I want to thank Congressman McCaul for, number one, for listening to local law enforcement, and number two, for taking the information back to Washington and working to advocate for the local agencies here. One of the elements that has been high on our radar in order to carry out the mission of keeping the citizens of Harris County safe is a simple application to the Department of Justice's COPS grant. We have been unsuccessful in getting any of our COPS applications funded, and so Congressman McCaul and others have offered their advocacy for the Harris County community, and so for that I'm proud and grateful. But it's also very important that we have members of Congress like Congressman McCaul who understands the need to stay focused on issues like the cartels, like international and domestic terrorism, and to help local law enforcement develop those resources and those initiatives to do our fair share of keeping our community safe. As I see, we have Major Robert Van Pelt here. He's the major over our commercial vehicle enforcement. One of the things that we talked about was the level of narcotics, money, guns that are moving from both sides of the border. And so Major Van Pelt's operations help us to focus on effective commercial vehicle enforcement in hopes of that if anybody is using those as a guise, that his troops are able to snap those loads off as quickly as possible. So, Congressman, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your support of the Harris County Sheriff's Office and the Harris County community at large.
Thanks, Sheriff. I appreciate that. Do we have any questions?